Hi everyone, this is Kelly and I am very excited to be coming here today to talk to you about this new book by Maya Tolles called Wild Wisdom Companion. I'm going to get there, I promise, but let me do a little bit of a preamble. The first, I believe, I don't know, let's be honest, I don't know. I don't remember if it was the Bestiary or the Herbiary, but I found one of these books randomly on the shelf at my Barnes & Nobles. I have walkthroughs of all three of those, which I will link below. We're going to talk about these at the end and the new iteration that is coming out with these, which I'm super excited about. We'll come back to that in a minute. But I purchased all three of these books and I absolutely love them. I love her artwork. I love the card artwork. I have them over here. So these are all of the decks, and you'll see in this book here, came with originally the cards kind of stuck together on sheets in the back of the book. Again, I've got walkthrough of these, so I'm not going to belabor the point, but it came like this in a book with cards at the back, which we're going to look at here. I sometimes have mixed these together, and sometimes I keep them apart like this because my journey token system, or the deck, or the tokens, the system itself has a plant card, a crystal card, and a animal card. And you can roll the dice to find out more detailed what the animal is, or you can pull a card. And since I have this nice compact set of all three of crystals, animals, and herbs, I'll often use this to pull. If I pull that card or that token, I'll pull a card to get a more focused message of what plant, what crystal, what oracle, or what animal. And so I love this. What people generally don't love about this is, they are definitely, it's cardstock meant to be able to fit, kind of back here in the back. And that has been fixed with some deluxe books, which I never got because I already had the books, the deluxe box set. I already had the beautiful books, and I had these cards, and so I don't think at the time all three of them were out, and so I really passed on the deluxe. But they've recently released it with just like a booklet and the cards in them, and we're going to look at that at the end of the video. But I love this iteration so much because I already have the books, and so and I love everything about this iteration, but we're going to come back to that at the end. But my point is that I have loved this set, and I have used this set quite a lot. This is always out. It's either at the side or it's over in my in a little bag in my token bag because I use it together with that. So I've been super thrilled with this. I've done walkthroughs of all these. I purchased all three of these. So when I got an email saying, that Maya Tolles was coming out with a new book called Wild Wisdom Companion, and would I be interested in doing a review of it? I was like, oh, sign me up. Like, I'm sold already. Like, I've bought three of these books. I use these cards. Like, I am 100% sold. And when I saw some of the book pictures, I was like, phew, yes please. I was so excited about that. So we're going to take a look at this first. Let us just zoom in because this is such what I love about her stuff, and what attracted to me to it when I first saw it on the shelf is it's just gorgeous. Like, it's just, it's hard to get that in on a camera, but it is got foiling, but it's beautiful foiling. It's not overly obnoxious, but it's stunning. It's like you're looking at, like you would think of like looking at an illuminated manuscript or something. It's just beautiful. All three of the books were this way. Now this is different in the sense that, sorry, let me start to get stuff everywhere. This is different in the sense that these were books that were this size, right? More of a book shape. Whereas this is a square. The cards were also, rectangle shaped, and the cards on this one are square shaped. So there is a difference between the 3 sets of the Herbiary, Herbiary, Bestiary, and Crystalary. This stands out differently in its square format. I am a huge fan of square formats. I have painted in other formats, but I prefer to paint in square formats. I take my pictures in square formats a lot of times, even before it was popular Instagram to do so. I do really love the square formats on things, so I quite love that that's the case. This just came in, and I am super stoked to take a look at this with you today. So again, Maya Toll's Wild Wisdom Companions. It says a guided journey into the mystical realms of the natural world, season by season, includes 28 oracle cards, illustrations by Kate O'Hara. At the back says, what can change in a year? And then the answer is you. Now, I really loved this. I have looked at this briefly, and then I got so excited. I was like, okay, I've got to stop so that I can do this with you in the video. The pages are always gorgeous. Like this, you know, it's just, you know what to expect. And then the art, like, that's when I was like, okay, I gotta stop. Like, look at how beautiful this is. You've got the fall going into the winter, going into the spring, going into the summer. That is such a stunning piece of art by Kate O'Hara. Yes, Kate. Yes, Kate. Yes, Kate. You're amazing. I also really love, this got me excited too. So you can see on the contents page, the book starts in late autumn, which is exactly where we're at right now. Starts in late autumn. So it gives you late autumn, it gives you the time frame in the northern and the southern hemisphere. It gives you the element. So it has northern hemisphere November to winter solstice, southern hemisphere May to winter solstice. Element, water into earth, energy center, third eye, plant medicine, rosemary, animal medicine, turtle and tortoise, crystal medicine, amber, and then 3 seasonal symbols for each of them. In the case of late autumn, the phoenix, the descent, and the void. And these are the cards that you get. So then you can see this whole cycle: late autumn, early winter, early spring, late spring, early summer, late summer, early autumn, and it goes back around, right? So you're seeing the movement of the seasons. And of course you have all the beautiful edged artwork on it. You know, this is one of those books that is made to be just enjoyed. But I wanted to point this out because I thought this was maybe I think a lot of us can feel the same about this. So this says, this is obviously written from Maya Toll. This book is essentially about time. It was written, however, in a strange little eddy of history when time was flowing in none of the usual ways. During the spring of 2020, as we were facing a global pandemic, time moved in neither a line nor a circle. If it weren't for the turning seasons outside my window, I would have truly been lost. Thank you to the earth and the sun for continuing to dance. I love this. If it wasn't for my ancestors, I would have been lost. So I understand that finding that thing that is going to root and ground you. Of course, it's got dandelions, which are my thing. And then I love this. This one's for you, Aunt Gloria, for making the season sacred. You are alive in so many hearts. So I will join with her and say thank you, Aunt Gloria. So we have that. We have her preface here. You know, again, this is her books are meant to just really sink into and enjoy, for the color, for the storytelling. They're just, I just love them. Again, I'm already a fan. I was already sold, but I'm just more sold with this because I follow the Wheel of the Year. I don't really follow the festivals, like the festivals that many people follow. but I follow the season changes, and it's a very big part of my practice. And so this kind of thing excites me. So she gives an introduction, she gives you a shape of the year, and what I like is that for me this seems really rooted and grounded in the seasonal changes. There's nothing mentioned here about the festivals. There's nothing wrong with the festivals, but not everybody that follows the Wheel of the Year follows the festivals. And most of the texts and things that or decks or things that come out really lean into the festivals. So I really appreciate that if you follow the festivals, this is still amazing. But if you don't follow the festivals, it's also just as amazing. So talking about a sense of the sacred, your toolkit, invite some practices to leaning into, like invite your fear to tea, create a symbol dictionary, which I love, keep an altar, steps for creating an altar, talking about composting, which is such a earthy practice to do. So you have these kind of opening things here, and then how to work with your cards, either by pulling a 1 card draw, do a crossings of 2 cards, and a waxing and a waning of 2 cards. I quite like those 2 cards there. Choose 1 card to represent you, and then draw a card to see what's crossing you. So you choose the card that represents where you're at, and then what crosses you, and then a waxing, and what is waxing and what is waning. So we've got a couple things there. And then it goes into the almanac, which is what she calls it. Open the book to whatever season you're currently in. If you live in a place that does not have distinct seasons, choose a season that corresponds with your current month and hemisphere using the guide on page 13. I live in a climate in which this is the seasons, and this is what they look like. I've always said I am my where I live sees all 4 seasons in all of their fullness of their glory, and I love that. You know, I honestly feel bad for people not being able to live where they really experience all the 4 seasons. Obviously, for those people, they probably look at it and feel bad for me having to deal with snow and things of that, other things like that. But I do quite love it. So it starts again with late autumn. It talks about the element water into earth, which is beautiful. Animals burrowing into the earth. It talks about the some things from the ancient Celtic world. It talks about liminal space, which I love to have discussed. It has some seasonal practices. It's starting right off with communing with those who have passed, and that is, of course, a very strong part of my practice. During this liminal season, you can build an altar, to honor those who you'd had troubled relations with, who has passed on. That's something I have done myself. It gives you a energy point or a chakra point, and in this case, it associates it with third eye and gives you some information, and then an exercise to be able to do, which is wonderful. Again, some writing and reflection. I love this. You know, here's a recipe to making an anointing oil with essential oil, something else that I work with, which I love. So she's really giving you beautiful text, information about different things, and then she gives you practices. What can you do with this? Instead of just reading about it, what can you actually do? And that's what I love about that. So then we have the plant medicine, and so you can work with these medicines throughout the season or choose others that resonate with you right now. And again, she's focusing on rosemary, which is a really amazing plant to work with, and talks about how to burn leaves, flowers, resin. And then we have our animal medicine with the turtle and the tortoise, and then we have our crystal medicine with the amber. So this is all the late autumn, and then we have the late autumn seasonal symbols. So we have the phoenix, a step into the cycle. We have the descent. This card is stunning, or this page. Again, you have these in card format, but you get the big, and I do love that about the other books, that you've got a full page of the art to really sink into. Like, you could cast onto this. Like, this would be an amazing page. Probably all these pages would be just fantastic to cast runes or tokens or charms, whatever, onto, because they're just stunning, especially with these square format ones. So here we have the Descent, Embrace Your Unraveling. Each one gives you a piece, a text about the descent, and then it gives you gifts and challenges. So how is that a gift for you to be in the moment of descent, and how is that a challenge? So that's that. We have the third one, which is the seasonal symbol of the void. Find comfort in nothingness. The gift of that is rest and potential. The challenges is it can be despair and depression when you're sitting in nothing. Again, you could cast on that so amazingly. And then it goes on to the winter solstice. And so obviously we're seeing this, look at that, all the way through. Here we have the moon. This one has a pocket here, which is really interesting. There's not a pocket on the other one. What does it talk about? It gives you this whole spread about the element of earth, which I love. Seasonal practices. Look at the little tiny, I don't know, is that a little mouse? I think it's a little mouse. I don't know. A little earthworm. Again, goes into the chakra point, in this case the root chakra. Plant medicine of burdock, my bear medicine here, which I love. And I like this. It gives you information, fun facts about bears. It can help you to say, how do you work with bear energy? Bears see in color. They have a great sense of smell. They need a lot of calories. They hibernate. Female bears give birth during the hibernation period, which does unsurprisingly wake them up. We have moonstone as the crystal and making a moonstone elixir. And then we have the symbols. We have the womb, find space to grow. Look at the dreaming, access the metaphors. Again, I really think that I would use this book as a casting space. The hearth, seasonal symbol, come back to center. I love it. And then we go into late winter. I mean, it's just gorgeous. Like, I just look at the seasonal summer for late summer is the witch, and look at that. And the key word for the witch is to know nature. Both feared and revered, made to seem silly and scary and sacred, the witch is a chameleon-like archetype. The word witch itself is a gatekeeper for those who want to walk this path. Learning the ways of the wild wisdom of the world must dare to have themselves labeled as such. Many turn back, scared of the judgment and derision that has, at various times in history, met women who pursued a path of knowledge. At its core, the witch is a wise woman archetype. She is a seeker of knowledge, deeply exploring the natural world. The witch is elemental. She is engaged with the world around her. She knows the turnings of the moon and the risings of the tide. She knows which plants poison and which heal, and thus can both give life and take it away. She knows which crystals store memory and which deflect harm. She has watched the ways of wolves and ravens, owls and snakes, and understands how human nature mirrors animal nature. The witch lives on the fringes, mediating between the wild and the civilized. She's not wholly tamed, and so she scares those who bow to social norms instead of natural laws. Like most of nature's creatures, the witch is neither good nor evil. Her nature is to know the natural world, not just with her mind, but with her whole being, and to explore the possibilities that come with that knowing. The gift is to be rooted knowledge of the seasons and cycles and ability to heal self and others. The challenges are feeling alone and lonely and persecution. That's beautiful. Look at that, the harvest. So yeah, I mean, it's just gorgeous. For me, it's just like a no-brainer. I already follow the wheel and have for many years, and I just love that there are pockets in these. I really love that it is rooted in the cycle of the natural cycle of the seasons, and not necessarily in the can't speak, not necessarily in the festivals. And again, there's nothing wrong with the festivals, it's just that's not my practice, and so much does get the lodestone. Let go of extra weight. You know, it's just nice to have something that's a little bit different in that way. But again, the art is just what we have come to expect with, that's really beautiful, the door. It's what we've come to expect with her books and with the artwork of Kate O'Hara. So in the back, like with the other ones, we have in the back, I've already pulled this open, but I thought, oh, I guess I better do this walkthrough before I split them up. So in the back is this sort of parchment paper envelope, and the cards are hooked together as they are in the other books that we've seen already. And then they can be separated. So you can obviously cut, if you just kind of wiggle them back and forth, they do leave these little pokey things. I'm sure that they can be sanded down, like with a nail file. I don't believe, oh, let's see, I should try to put these in order. So these are the four. So what we have, and we'll look through these one by one. I'm just going to get them separated. But we have the autumn equinox, the winter solstice, the spring equinox, and the summer solstice. So we have the four main equinoxes and solstices. And then starting with the early autumn, we have 3 cards for each of the seasonal energies, right? So this is early autumn, and early autumn. I'm going to try to kind of put these in order. We have late autumn with the phoenix. Well, I'm not going to, I guess we'll just, let's pull them apart, and then we'll zoom in and flip through all of them. Look at the backs. All of her backs are stunning, but I think this one takes the cake. I don't know, they're just all gorgeous. I just love her stuff. There's no question. I love the artist. I love the writer, and I just love everything about what they make. It's just so gorgeous. Early winter, earlier into early winter, late winter. I mean, just look at the colors. They're so beautiful. Early spring. Early spring. I know I should be doing this off of late spring, off of camera, but you know, why not do it together? Early, late spring. I think I already had a late spring. Early summer. Early summer. And then last but not least, late summer. And I go through and edge mine. I've edged all of mine, as you can see, so the backings again are gorgeous. So I have backed the Bestiary, which has tails and feathers in it, to match, and then this is the this is the those are the, I just saw crystals over there. This has plants growing on it. Does have a bird as well, and again, I just edged it blue to match that inner color, and then I didn't have a color to match the darker, but I went with a lighter purple on the Crystalary. So I will do the same thing with this set. I'm really hoping they put this set out in the thicker, for like altar cards would be absolutely amazing. So these decks are each 36 cards, and this deck is 20, what did it say? 28 cards. It has the 4, 2 equinoxes and 2 solstices, and then it has 3 cards for each of the early and late parts of the season. Okay, so let's zoom this in. Well, I guess it would help to get this here. So we can zoom in as close as we can, but not where, because I always like to pick things up. Okay, so let's look at the back. So, so beautiful. You can see the animals, you can see the plants, you can see the seasons around the edges. It's just gorgeous. So as with many of the cards, other than the first one, it has the kind of title, which is also functions as a keyword, and then it has it's the autumn equinox, and then it has the page number. Now, I don't particularly like the page numbers being on there. It's not my favorite, but it's so small, it's not obnoxious. It's page, I can't even barely read it. I think it's page 167, so that you can go find it, but it's not too hard to find these. Anyways, but we have the autumn equinox with the stunning autumn leaves, the stunning tree, like I just love it. We have the moon for the winter solstice. We have the unfurling for the spring equinox, which is perfect. We have the sun for the summer solstice. Again, the berries are, everything's blooming. The sun is at its highest. It's just gorgeous. So those are the 4 main festivals, and then we have 3 for each of them. Early autumn is interesting for the mermaid. I want to look at that one. So then we can get an idea of what we get with the cards, although I think I already read one in the witch, but that's okay. That's okay. Early autumn is over at the end. So, seasonal symbol of the mermaid. The mermaid is inseparable with the water element. She is the sea, dark, deep, dark, mysterious, compelling, enigmatic, seductive, dangerous. Gives some mythologies there. You must take her hand as she leads you from the land into the unknown of the water. This is what the mermaid asks of each of us, that we surrender our ego and step into complete trust. Not trust of some outside force, but trust in the depths of your own intuition and knowing. Gifts, magic, mystery, depth, and intuition. Challenges, drowning in illusion. I did want to say, let me zoom back out here because I was so excited to look at the cards that I missed this. But in the back, she gives her thank yous, and then she gives the where the energy centers are in your body and the page to find them on. She also gives a beautiful new beginnings spread. And so I thought that was interesting here, where you're seeing the whole year, which I do a wheel of the year spread to this as well. And so, although this looks a little bit different because this looks more like just a check-in kind of reading. So like with late autumn, this card represents you now and how you're currently defining a sense of home and stability. 2 is early winter, tells you what you need to remember to strengthen your connection to the earth element. So it's more like a check-in reading. This is really gorgeous. I'm definitely going to give that a try. So she gives you that. Did I miss anything else by not peeking? No, and then she talks about the other, obviously, things that she has. Okay, sorry, I got sidetracked there, but I wanted to see that mermaid one because that's interesting for early autumn. All right, let's zoom back in. So we have the mermaid, early autumn. We have the elders for early autumn. Again, I love that we can see it's like almost the ancestor card, right? This is a squirrel that has passed on, and this is the living squirrel, and they're still in connection with each other. Here we have the river for early autumn. When we move into late autumn, we have the phoenix, the descent. Love this card. The void. When we move into early winter, we have the womb, the dreaming. I also really love this. And we have the hearth. We have the seed in late winter because even though the things start to sprout in spring, there is stuff that's going on beneath the surface that we don't always, we don't see it. So Late Winter, the Seed, the Maker, love that card, and the Crossroads, which is stunning. Again, this this page in this book would be amazing to cast on. This may be a casting book for me. Early Spring, we have the Wind, the Door, coming in or out, as my mom used to always say, and the Fool. Late Spring, we have the Lodestone, let go of what's holding you back to coming into full fruition. The Staircase is a really cool card, both as card coming up in a reading, but also I like how it's between the trees like that. And the Alchemist. I love alchemy cards. For early summer, we have the Star, the Council, and the Warrior. And then for late summer, the beautiful Harvest card, the Witch card in late summer, and the Traveler card. Just gorgeous. Again, they're all gorgeous. Like, there's not any one of these that I would say is ugly, right? Cardstock wise, I'm actually going to say, let me look. These again are not known for having great cardstock. I almost want to say, I'm not the best at deciding this stuff, but I almost want to say this is slightly thicker than this. This is very, very thin. Although, in all fairness, these have been much shuffled. Sometimes all together, but many times these have been shuffled separately, right? And so for all the, you know, super thin, like this again, super thin. This is really like, these kind of cards are meant to be sort of a tool of the book. The book is the star and the deck comes in and is a tool to that. But I've used these, I don't know how long I've had these. You have to look back at the, see when I reviewed them, but I've shuffled these a lot and they've held up quite well for me. So, you know, as much as they're not great cardstock, I do like how you get a deck in with this gorgeous book, which is, like I said, kind of the star there. These have held up. This does feel to me like it's slightly thicker, but that could be, I'm not the best. Riffling wise, it kind of feels similar to me. I'm going to have to get a really pretty copper, and I'll show you why in a second with this other part. I want to try to find a copper to do the edges at, I think. All of the you know, inner borders are the same. So you could do like a dark color there, like a really dark brown, like a sepia brown, but super dark. I could definitely do that. If I can't find a copper I like, then I would do like a dark brown. But that really does get it looking a little bit more finished off. I know you can also take a nail file and just kind of file down those little nubs. I may have done that. I can't remember now. I have to go back and watch my own video before I put the color on here. I'll look. But yeah. That's what you get with the book itself. You know, what's waxing and what's waning. And you can use the challenge versus the gift on the cards itself. Or these really can be used beautifully, and that's how I probably will use these at the moment. That's how I feel like I'll use these, is as altar cards for setting things out in the altar, like what is the energy, either what equinox and solstice am I under, but also then a movement through, or just this is the energy that I'm trying to bring into space. I think these will be amazing like that. So I do quite like the square shape. I like square shapes both for the deck, for a deck, but certainly for setting this out on my in my ancestor altar, I think this size and this shape is really nice for that. So I'm super stoked about this. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. You know, I think it's you know, if you're already the person who you know, has the other books and love it, it's a no-brainer. I would also say if you didn't necessarily want the other ones because you don't really like animal decks or crystal decks or whatever, this is great again just for if you are somebody who wants to or follows the Wheel of the Year. This, which is a lot of people right in our community, this is just amazing. So I don't know, I just say well done to Maya Tolles and to Kate O'Hara. I think they again have made just a beautiful product. The company that produces these, because gotta give them some kudos, they do an amazing job as well, is, I don't know who, to be honest, Story Publishing. Like, I don't know who they are, but kudos to you. My hat's off to you as well, because I do love these. Now, I did want to show these as well, and these are remakes of these cards that come in the back of the books. Now, this has already happened. In fact, let's look real quick. And I don't have these, but there's walkthroughs out there of them. But there were 2 box sets. The Bestiary and the Herbiary were put out as box sets. And I think these came with the books, and maybe I'm wrong, but these came out with bigger cards. And I think they also had the books, but then they have the box sets, but they don't have the Crystalary yet. I'm sure it's going to come out. She also has some jigsaw puzzles. These would make amazing jigsaw puzzles, so I get that. But again, I haven't bought the box sets because I do use this size. The Crystalary wasn't there as a box set yet, and I almost want to say that the box sets come with a book. Maybe I'll look that up in a second. And I already had the book, so I just kind of felt like I was just rebuying that. But what they're coming out with, and I'll put release dates and things in the description box below. What they've come out with are these, which I think is the perfect solution. If you already have the book or you don't really want the book, I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you didn't, they came out with these as box sets here with the with a small guidebook. So you do have a little guidebook, not the beautiful, obviously full-colored imagery, but it does give you the basic information that you need for each of the crystals or animals or herbs. So you have a quick little white book, but actually quite beautiful colored. And then you have, and there's a couple things I love about this. You have the cards themselves, which are on beautiful, thick matte. This is matte, that kind of perfect matte that I love. Not sticky, matte cardstock with all of the backs and fronts are the same. So let me not mix this up here. So that you can put these into one giant deck if you want to. It will be a wing dinger of a deck, but you can see that the backs are the exact same and the fronts are the same blue, dark blue border on all of them. So this can mesh together to this amazing nature deck, which I'm going to do once we look at them. I guess it doesn't matter if we have them in here. And again, here's your bestiary with a bit about each of the animals here. And then the herbiary is this. Oops, I have the wrong. Let's do this. This. And then the herbiary is the same. This one feels a little bit thicker. I'm not sure why this guide. Well, I guess not. I guess not. With the, here we have the Herbiary as well with it. And again, same dark blue edges, same exact back, so that you can pull all this together to, what would that be? 36 times 3, 108 card set. I checked on my calculator. Now, again, this will be a wing dinger to shuffle. It's a lot easier. I have shuffled all these together, and I like to use it that way, and I will be keeping this now separate, though, so I can use it with my other, so that I can shuffle this together as this amazing nature deck. But it's a lot easier, I would think, with this thin cardstock. So maybe I should swap it, where I keep these separate and then I mix this together. That might be what I need to do. But I will just stick them together like this, so you can see, like, this is a giant deck. Look at that. I can't wait to edge this. I gotta find the perfect marker, though. Same thing here. Like, I would either go with a really, I'll either find a really dark navy blue. I think mine is gone because, oh, I just dropped that. This is not a dark enough blue, so I need to find a good navy blue. Or I need to find a really beautiful, like, copper or antiqued gold color. So I'm not sure. I'm not going to do it until I find something perfect. But this would be a wing dinger to shuffle. That is for sure. So maybe what I'll do is the opposite. But what I've used these in different ways. Let me separate these. I've used these in different ways. I have kept them together and pulled one from each. So shuffle, 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 pull an animal, pull a herb, pull a crystal. That's an amazing way to do it. I have also, I'm excited to do this for my Walk in the Wood reading, because I do a Walk in the Woods reading where I take you in, I'm going to shuffle one of these, where I take you on a walk in my own inner landscape woods. And we get a feather, you know, you find a feather, we find a crystal, we find a plant, we meet an animal, we meet a fae creature. But I haven't used these for that because I've only had these little decks. But now that I have these, I think these are going to be front runners in that particular reading. They're very thick. This is thick stock. It's not the easiest to riffle, but with only 36 cards, it's certainly, as you can see, doable. But it's a thick one. This is definitely made for overhand, but I will always do a little bit of both. But look at that. They're so gorgeous. So yeah, I'm going to keep these separate. Soda light. I'm going to keep these separate so that I can use them for that Walk in the Woods. And then I'm going to shuffle this and my token readings. But then I can take these three, because there are such thin cardstock, and I have shuffled these all together. Yeah, because it's such thin cardstock. There are benefits to thin cardstock, right? I can literally bridge. I can get all three of these in here and still bridge it. And use this as my blended deck. And it shuffles really easy. So then I can pull them that way. And again, all of these have, no, they don't. They have different color frames, but I have other decks like that, so that doesn't bother me at all. So yeah, I'm super excited. So these are coming out, and again, I'll put like release dates and things below, because I am definitely filming this because I want to use the deck from the new book, and that way I can put a note in there when it comes out. I can put in, you know, my experience of working with it. But again, I've worked with these three for a long time, so I already have quite a feel for those decks, and now I get to mix the decks up and keep these separate. So yeah, I want to, oh, look at that. I love that card. Steady on, steady on. I just love these decks, so I'm really excited. I want to say the box sets were also had gilding on them, but don't quote me on that, and I'm super glad these do not. I don't, on my earthy decks, I really don't like to have gilding, and oftentimes I will cut it off, and so I'm really glad that this does not, so that I can come in and either find a nice dark blue, which is kind of where I'm leaning, to be honest, or find a beautiful copper, but I don't think I'm going to be able to match that, so I'm more inclined to do a dark blue. I actually like the one that I have in the dark blue. Of course, now they're not together, but I do actually like this, and when it's to the side with the dark blue, so I think that's probably what I'm going to do here, but I'm going to go and look. I'm not going to jump to anything. So yeah, these are, let's see, what do we got? We got the Bestiary, put that together. And again, I will have in the down below, I will have links to all the walkthroughs of these. I'm not doing a walkthrough of these ones because I have already done a walkthrough of all of these. Here's the Herbiary. And so I'll put a link to those below. Okay, I wanted to show you real quick before I go, this is future me, but I did end up doing the sides of the deck in a blue. I don't know how well it's showing up, but there's a beautiful blue color underneath the copper, and this is what I've done, and it looks really good in person. I'm quite happy with the color. I thought I might need to do 2 rounds of this to darken it to where I want it, but I'm really happy with how that turned out. That was, or is, Winsor Newton pigment marker in indigo. So that is what I edged the deck. But yeah, very excited. Again, have loved the decks that I have. I've had all 3 of these decks, have used them extensively, and really enjoyed them. And so I'm really excited to be working with this. I'm putting this over into my ancestor space today. So okay, just thought I would slip that in there so that you could see how that turned out, and I will talk to you all later.